Hello! These days, many people are forced to work remotely. And as someone who works remotely all the time, I would like to give you a few tips and maybe tricks on how to communicate more efficiently during your remote work. So let's get into it. Now, the first thing I would like to suggest is to avoid calls. Okay, now this may sound strange because in a call you can say so many things and use so many words, and you can use many more words than you could use in a chat in the same amount of time. But when you get on a call, it's very easy to get off topic. It's very easy for someone to get onto the case for far too long. They'll be asking you questions and then more questions, and then nothing will get done. So avoid calls when the call is supposed to be only about a small, tiny question which you can easily answer on a chat. Especially when the question requires, say for example, an image to be sent, a screenshot to be taken, a link to be sent. It's better to just do it on a chat. There's no reason to get on a call, and in fact it might be a waste of time. Now there's nothing wrong with a video call. There's nothing wrong with that. But the video should be useful, okay? And in general, if you are going to get on a call, try to get on a simple voice call. Avoid the video connection. And that's my next tip. So, if you are going to get on a call, you need to try and avoid the video. Now, you may have some great internet connection, you may have a great computer, but maybe the person on the other end does not have that, and maybe there's something wrong in general. There are so many things that can go wrong in a video call, and there will be crashes, there will be stuttering, it will be quite annoying. So if you don't need to show anything, don't show anything, just use simple voice. The quality will be a lot better, everything will be a lot smoother. Now, if you do need to show something on your screen, that's a very useful thing. Use your screen share, okay? Share the screen during the video call. That's your video, not a video of yourself. You don't need to show yourself. Obviously, people like that. People like to see the person they communicate with, but it's absolutely pointless. It will make everything stuttery, slow, and it might even crash a call. Plus, the whole video quality thing might not be all that great, and you see some person being delayed from his or her voice. It can be quite annoying. So if you can avoid it, avoid video call in terms of when you see the person. You don't need to see that person. You do, however, sometimes need to see their screen. And if there's a need for that, always use that. Try to use it as much as possible. If you need to show something, just turn on that screen share and that's it. There's no reason to send a screenshot if you are already on a call. There's just no reason for it. You can open your screen share and show everything dynamically. It will be a lot quicker, a lot more efficient when you do it dynamically. You're actually doing some actions rather than just sending a few screenshots and then writing some text or talking about it and explaining it that way. Now then, on to the next tip. My next tip has to do with proper chatting, texting. You use your Skype, maybe some other messaging service, whatever you use, right? You communicate with a person directly. Now, you may be using email, but in the working environment, email is just such a bad choice. It's a terrible choice. Even when you work with clients, I think the preferred way should always be, say, even LinkedIn or Skype. That's the best option in my opinion. But no matter where you chat, you need to follow some proper guidelines. for people to understand you properly and for everyone to be more efficient. And the first thing you have to do is use proper punctuation. At the very least, you must use your question marks. You must use a question mark. If you have a question, it ends with a question mark. I've seen people many times send me a question with no question mark and then another sentence after that. So I have no clue where the question begins and where the question ends and where the next thought begins. It can be extremely annoying, but more importantly, it will slow everything down. You must never do that. You must always use a question mark. Now, using dots and various other things, that's a great thing, but at the very least use a question mark. It's not that difficult to do. And tell others to use question marks, because there are many people who don't actually understand that, or maybe they are too lazy to bother to do that. Now, another thing about this, you need to use paragraphs, okay? You need to use paragraphs in your messages. You must do that. You must separate your thoughts. If you have two different thoughts that you want to write, that you want to explain, you need to do it in two paragraphs. But do not do it in two messages, right? If you write one message, send it, then you start writing another message, it may impact on the other person. Simply because the other person will open up, say, Skype, okay? They open it up, they see your new question, your new message, but they also see you typing. So they won't be able to get back to their work because they have to wait for you to finish typing. And that's quite normal. The person will usually wait for it, wait for your next message. And if you're being extremely annoying, that would be sending one message, then another message, then another message, and doing like 5 or 6 or 7, maybe 10 messages that could easily be one message. So if you have a question or a couple of questions, it should be in one message. You can easily do a paragraph. Usually the way you do paragraph is you press down the shift button on your keyboard and you click enter. That way the message won't get sent and you'll have a new paragraph. That's usually how it works in most messaging systems. Now then, on to the next tip. Now then, my final tip for you. Avoid sending messages back and forth. Avoid too much of that back and forth communication. There is no need for it. But also, don't ask too many questions in one message, because that will result in much more of that back and forth communicating. That's not a good thing as well. Try to keep it specific. Try to keep it as specific as possible. As I mentioned previously, use paragraphs, use question marks, but send it in one message. But at the same time, if you have 3 or 4 or more questions, don't send it in one message. Do not overwhelm the person, because most likely what will happen, the person simply they will forget to answer the question. One of them, maybe 2 of them, who knows? And then at that point you'll have to either retype it or you'll have to copy the question from your previous message and send them. And that can be annoying for both of you. Someone might actually get insulted. You keep reminding them and things like that. So do be careful. Do not send too many questions, but do not send too few questions. If you have 2 questions, send them in one nice message, because that way the person on the other end can answer you in one simple message. You will not need to send a message, receive a message, then send another message and receive another message. That takes a lot of time. Who knows, that may even be 20 or 30 minutes, and there's no reason to waste that time. Now, if you enjoyed this video, like it and subscribe to this channel for more business and technology and programming videos, and support this channel on Patreon.